Enlightenment is nothing but the realization of the reality of life that we call the real reality, the truth. Therefore, enlightenment is realization of the ultimate truth. The very word enlightenment gives in a poetic way this idea. Enlightenment means the dawn or the birth of light. The light is born means before the birth of light, there was darkness. Therefore, enlightenment means dispelling the darkness. The nature of darkness is that we cannot see things in the dark when there is dark. We cannot see things outside us only when there is light. Therefore, enlightenment means bringing the vision of the surrounding, the vision of things that we have not seen here. In this sense, enlightenment means the complete extinction or eradication of ignorance. It is referred to as moha in Pali, the Buddha's language. And it is also called avidya. Avidya is described as not knowing the Four Noble Truths that the Buddha has revealed to us and that the Buddha has realized at his enlightenment. Four Noble Truths is the ultimate truth of life that the Buddha has taught us and revealed to us. It is the dawn of that truth. In fact, the dawn of the truth means the dawn of the light to see the truth. Buddha mentioned it in his first sermon called Dhamma Cakkappavattana Sutta as Chakkung Udapadi, the first step of enlightenment. The dawn of the eye, that is a poetical expression of the dawn of the ability to see. That means dawn of the vision of the truth. Jnanam Udapadi, the dawn of knowing the truth. When we see the truth, you start knowing it. Because you must have not known the truth earlier, now you know it. That is why I mentioned earlier, enlightenment means the birth of the right vision, correct vision, to see the reality of life. The first disciple of the Buddha, after listening to the first sermon of the Buddha, known as Dhamma Cakkappavattana Sutta, is said to have the insight, the beginning of the insight into the reality of life or the real reality, not actual reality. Because what we experience through our sense organs, inclusive of our mind, based on the capacity of our brain, is defective. No sense organs can grasp the real, complete, perfect truth of anything. For example, our eyesight is limited. We can't see very tiny small things like atoms or subatomic particles. We cannot see things very far away from us. They get distorted. We have a range of vision, a very limited range of vision. So is our hearing. We can't see every sound around us. We have a limited hearing. You are not smelling. That capacity too is limited. We can't smell what a dog can smell. Our taste is that. Our touch is that. Now, for example, the blind can touch and recognize certain things. Their touch has become their eye. But we don't have that sensitivity. It means the sensitivity of all our organs are limited, and all the information that our sense organs have supplied to our brain to be recorded there are also limited, defective, incomplete. What we know is not anything therefore outside us, because our sense organs are incapable of knowing things outside us. We know only what is created by our mind. The mind creates things when a sense organ sends a signal. When a sense organ sends a signal, there is a certain figure in front of me. With the help of the brain, that means with the help of the past memories recorded in the brain, that is our hard disk, human hard disk, we retrieve that memory and recognize, oh, this is a tree, this is a river, this father, this mother, because it is due to our past experience recorded in our brain that we can recognize things. But we recognize not the real reality, but only the reality created by the mind. The mind is incapable of creating the real reality of anything. Therefore, the mind is blind. Blind means our mind cannot see things really as they are, actually as they are. Enlightenment means the dawn of light in our mind, and the capacity brought about by the dawn of light inside is called insight. It is not outer sight, it is an insight. Insight means it is a vision of the mind. And that insight, as I mentioned earlier, was mentioned by the Buddha in his first discourse called Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta as Chakku. Verbal meaning is eye. Chakkum Udapadimi, the dawn of the eye. Here the eye is the capacity to see the real reality, the ultimate reality. Though Buddha's vision is beyond all limits of time and space, a Buddha can see things very far away. The distance is not a bar. Far away in time and space, but space and time not a bar for the Buddha. That means the real dawn of the insight into things as they really are. As I mentioned earlier, we don't see things really as they are. In Pali, seeing things as they are is called Yatha Bhuta Jnana Dassana. Seeing and knowing things as they are. Yatha Bhuta, as they happen to be. Because everything is an incident. Bhuta means an incident. We don't have things, there are only activities. That is what the Buddha recognized, that everything is anicca, dynamic, active, creative. It is that creativity, that dynamism, that is recognized by the scientists as energy, universal energy. Energy is not a thing, but a creativity. Formations and deformations. Things are formed, sustained, and they get decayed and they die or vanishes due to the activity of the universal energy that has created everything. Therefore, universal energy is identified in theistic religion as the Almighty God. And that is the ultimate reality of this universe and every item in it. Every item is dynamic, active. And Buddha referred to that reality as anicca. Because of that constant activity, creativity. Now, for example, the philosopher that lived in the 5th century BC in Greece thought that everything in this material world is created by atoms. They are the building blocks of every item. And atoms cannot be destroyed. They are permanent. They are eternal. Eternity of the atom. But it was somewhere in not even 100 years back, in 1919, that nucleus of atom could be smashed, destroyed. And ultimately, it is within that last century, the atom bomb was created, releasing the energy hidden in the atom. Buddha, more than 600 years back, said, there is nothing permanent in this universe. Everything is dynamic because the universal energy is creative and dynamic. Because the universal creativity or dynamism called energy, universal energy, he realized there is a transformation of energy. Energy gets transformed by itself. Transformation of its creations. Energy is nothing, not a thing, but a creation, but an activity. Activity brings about transformation. And that is called dukkha. That is the real meaning of the word dukkha. But it is translated, that word dukkha is translated to English as suffering. Suffering is only a form of dukkha. The mind may be in a pleasant state and it changes into a painful state, and that is said to be suffering because it's a transformation of the mind. In the first discourse of the Buddha, Dhammacakkappavattana, he referred to this word as by example, saying, Jatipi dukkha, birth is dukkha, because birth is a transformation. The egg turns into a chick. That's a transformation. Birth of a chick. Like that, birth is a transformation. Decay, we get all things decay, that is a transformation. Jaravi dukkha. Healthy beings get sick, sickness. Vyadhipi dukkha. Sickness is a transformation. Maranampi dukkha. Living body becomes a dead body. That's a transformation. Soka pariddavan. Soka mental suffering, sorrow. The mind that is present at a moment can turn to be unpleasant, sorrowful. Sorrow is a transformation. And all those examples show it is a transformation. Transformation of what? Transformation of the inner, the creative power of the universe. That creativity, that transformation is constant. Anicca means nothing is permanent. Therefore, he said that the third reality of this universe and everything in it is anattata. There is no soul, no permanent soul, no permanent identity. Nothing can retain a permanent identity. Small baby turns into a child, turns into a boy or a girl, turns into a youth, male or female, themselves, a young person, mature person, old person, a dead body. Those are all transformations. What the Buddha's first disciple called Kondanya, the ascetic, the 5 ascetic that listened to the Buddha's first discourse called Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, one got the first step of enlightenment, got onto the first step of enlightenment called Sotapanna, stream winner. At that first stage of seeing the real reality, the ultimate truth, realization of truth, he realized, according to Buddha's words given in that, there arose in him the eye, the capacity to see the Dhamma, the nature of mental forms. Atmato kondanyasa Dhamma chakkum udapadi. Dhamma chakkum. Dhamma means the mental forms. Chakku means the eye. Eye here means the capacity to see, not only look at the mental forms, look through the mental forms. They are real nature, reality. What is the ultimate reality according to the Buddha as given in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta that Reverend Kondanya, the first disciple, realized? Yankincha samudaya dhammang sabbantan nirodhammanti. Every mental form, Dhamma, there means the mental formations. What mental formation is? What the mind can become aware of. Mind is called mano, and the objects of the mind are called Dhamma. For example, the object of the eye is called Rupa. Eye and its object. The object of the ear is called sound. The ear can hear sound but cannot see pictures. The eye can see pictures but cannot see sound. The object of the nose is called smell. The object of the tongue is called taste. Similarly, the objects recognized by the mind, grasped by the mind, is called, every object is called Dhamma. And they are born to decay and die. Yankincha samudaya dhammang sabbanta nirodhammanti. We see our thinking as a thought, a process, a line, never ending line. But that thought process is created by a series of thoughts. And every thought is created by series of thought moments. The Buddha has gone very deep into that, but generally he referred to the formations, its beginning, its middle and its end as pancha upadana khanda. Upadana here means we think, they are my thoughts, I am thinking, and you get attached to your own thinking, and they are called upadana, they are magnetic, electromagnetic waves. Every wave is born to decay and die. The Panchapadanaskandha starts with Rupa. Here Rupa is not the normal meaning of form, stimulation. Stimulation of a sense organ. The eye gets stimulated by light waves reflected by different objects. The ear gets stimulated by sound waves. The nose gets stimulated by smells. The tongue gets stimulated by taste. Stimulation. Stimulation is Rupati Gattiyati Piliyati. Rupati means stimulation. Stimulated, gets stimulated, and it is Gattiyati, come in touch with a sense object and get stimulated, get a sensation. Sensation lead to a feeling, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. They are called Vedana, Rupa Vedana. Then when a sense organ is stimulated and sensation is created by the stimulation, a signal is sent to our mind based on our brain. Then sensation, the cognition of the sense organs is recognized by the mind with the help of the brain that contains our past memories. Oh, this is mother, this is father, this is wife, this is husband, this is my son, daughter, and so on. We recognize. This is a tree, this is a creeper, this is a flower, different objects, different things, different beings we recognize with the help of our past memories. Then sanya is signal, sankara means formation of a thought. And that thought also can't last long. Then vijnana, we become conscious of that mental formation. That consciousness is vijnana. Those are the 5 main aspects of a thought formation. But every thought is formed by not one spark, a series of sparks. Stimulation is a series of sparks. Sensation, Vedana is a series of sparks. Even sending a signal, series of sparks. These sparks are born, they are electromagnetic sparks. That is why they are called Upadana Kanda. They are magnetic sparks, electromagnetic sparks. They appear and disappear. Appearance and disappearance happen at the same time. That is called Shana Bangura. Therefore, what we experience are thought forms. They are created by forms of a series of thoughts. Every thought is created by a series of sparks. That means we are experiencing a series of ephemeral moments. That is born and die. But we think there are permanent forms, permanent things in this life. That in that reality called anicca, dukkha, and anatta. Dukkha is the main, the transformation. The cause of transformation is the dynamism called anicca. The result of a dukkha transformation is that nothing can retain a permanent identity. That is anatta. And the only teaching, only thing that Buddha taught to the world was about the nature of dukkha. He referred to 4 aspects of dukkha. Dukkha is translated into English as suffering, but it is not actual suffering only. Suffering is only a form of dukkha, form of mental transformation. This dukkha is a universal nature. It was in 1929, Edwin Hubble saw through a telescope the universe is expanding. Galaxies are moving away from each other. The universe is expanding. Not even a century back. But Buddha, in number of sutras, in Nagganya Sutra, in Brahmajala Sutra, in Mahapunyabhaya Sutra, and number of sutras, Buddha said that even the universe is born to decay and die. It begins with a big bang that leads to expansion in the universe. Expansion, he said, kappo vivattati. The universe gets expanded. The time called asankhya, innumerable, can't measure it by length of time and years. Prolonged, long period. Beyond numbers. Kappo vivattati. Then kappo vivatto tittati. It remains expanded. Then kappo samvattati. It starts getting shrinked again. Contraction. Contraction of the universe. Then it gets completely contracted into a black hole again and remain there. And that also. Sara Sankhya, 4 periods beyond calculation. It remains there. This Buddha knew 2600 years back. In fact, Buddha taught his disciples only the 4 noble truths. Chaturara Satya, and the basic truth is Dukkha Satya, and the triple nature of the universe called Tilakkana is Anicca, Dukkhata, Anattata. That's all what the Buddha taught. Once in Sinsapa Sutta, a discourse, Buddha was going through a forest with some monks, and he got hold of a handful of leaves and asked him, what do you think? Do you have more leaves in my hand or in the forest? He said, there's no question. We have more leaves in the forest. Yes, monk. What I know is like the innumerable leaves in the forest. What I realized, the truth. But what I taught is only a handful, like these leaves. I have taught you only the 4 noble truths. About the 4 aspects of Dukkhata, the transformative, creative nature, the work of the God, the Creator God. It gets created, and creativity is an activity, that is anicca. An activity means a transformation, it is Dukkhata. Therefore, nothing can retain a permanent identity. And as mentioned earlier, we cannot know anything outside us exactly as they are because our sense organs are not capable enough knowing the real nature of anything. What we see as permanent is not permanent. That is why the Greek philosopher Heraclitus, who lived in the 5th century BC in Greece, said, no one can step into the same river twice. Once you step into the river, it flows away, and you don't get the same river to step into for a second time. That is why everything is dynamic. It means we cannot hold on to anything. We can't hold anything, nor can we drop anything. Holding anything by mind is called raga, attachment. Dropping anything from the mind is called dosa, attachment, resentment. You want to get rid of it. And this happens without knowing the reality, and that is called ignorance, called moha. Raga, dosa, moha. Enlightenment means the dispelling, the complete eradication, extinction of raga, dosa, moha. And that mind is called free from raga, vita ragi, free from dvesha, vita dosi, free from ignorance, vita mohi, ignorance of the reality. What is the ultimate reality? Everything is born to decay and die. Once you realize that, you don't hold on to anything, you don't push anything, you don't pull anything. Pulling is called lobha in mind, pushing is called dvesha, pushing by mind. And what caused our ignorance to pull and push is called moha. That means mind is not thinking. Free from thinking. That is what happened to the Buddha, as he has explained in his first paean of joy, recorded in the Dhammapada, Visankara gatan citta. At enlightenment, my mind became free of thinking, free of thoughts. Mind became empty, void. That is why the nirvana is called voidness, sunyata. Sunyata means the mind is free from its content, called thoughts and feelings and mental forms, ideas, opinions, beliefs, and so on. Mind became completely free. And that emptiness is the ultimate reality that Buddha realized. It is not born in the universe. It can never be destroyed. It cannot decay. It cannot become sick. And that is the ultimate reality Buddha has realized. And ultimately we will realize we are living in an emptiness. What appears to be real, the apparent reality, is not the ultimate reality. Nothing in this world is actually real, though they appear to be real. That is enlightenment, realizing that ultimate reality, so that you don't get attached to anything, nor do you resent anything, nor you get illusioned by anything, thinking that it means mind is free from attachment, resentment, and ignorance. And that is a light mind, free from mental defilements, a pure mind, a blissful mind. It is that emptiness of the mind that one can attain as the ultimate reality and the supreme bliss. This now you may know as an idea. You may have heard about it. You can know it by listening. That is called, that knowledge is called sutta jnana. Then you can think of it and make a mental formation, and that is called chinta jnana. But through meditation you can realize it. That is called bhavanamaya jnana. What do you realize in bhavana? When you are in a meditative mood, when you are meditating, you see, as Reverend Kondanya realized, every thought is born to decay and die. They are ephemeral. They are mirages. They are like water bubbles. They get expanded. They are born to decay and die instantly. They are like different forms in fermentation. Nothing is real. That is the ultimate reality the Buddha has realized, and that is the ultimate truth. Therefore, the word Buddha means one who knows the reality of everything, understanding things. Bodheti in Pali or Bujjati in Pali means realization. Buddha is the past participle of the word called bodhechi or bujjati. That is realized. Buddha, Buddho in Pali, masculine singular, is one who has realized. Realized what? The ultimate reality. Therefore, the enlightened one, or in Pali the Buddha, means one who has realized the ultimate truth of things. And ultimately, the ultimate truth is nothing but the voidness, emptiness, so that there's nothing we can hold on to or nothing that we can drop away. Everything appears to vanish then and there, then that is called Shanabangura. In such a state of mind, there is no attachment, no resentment, no ignorance. That is the realization of the reality. No ignorance means free from ignorance. That is the ultimate enlightenment, the ultimate realization of the truth of things, the truth of life. One day, now we can have these things as ideas, but there can be realization. They become real, not ideal, but real. Now we know it as ideas, ideals. But once you realize it through meditation, through insight, you can get enlightened.